loss versus KDU US. 6-7-3 results in the end for the Wraith King. Kind of, that was also when they played Storm Wraith King, so this is... I get it, okay. Right, we get the message. But yeah, that was not a reference to their loss, but still, they have played this duo quite a lot. So you could say that this is somewhat of a comfort as well for 5ManMidas to go back to this and start things off. But hey, here's an early move towards the jungle, and hello, Ray. You have just signed your death warrant. So he walks
Goodbye,
into
Ray.
4 heroes from 5RATFORCESTAFF, and DNM gets the first blood with the snake. The snake lady.
He's gonna feel very nice about that. And DNM, of course, making the transition back to the carry position this season. This man has been playing, has had a stint on the offlane, I should say, in the previous tour. He's probably happy to get back to his original role here, and certainly happy to pick up that first blood.
At least that's going to get things rolling. We always talk about the amount of money you can amass on a Medusa until you're kind of hitting that important phase where are we big enough to fight back? So all the money that you can accumulate towards the Medusa's bank basically comes out with a lot of interest after that Scotty timing you already mentioned earlier on. That is a huge impact once you do have that Scotty picked up. So let's see if 5ManMidas can get their engine rolling before that happens. Obviously, first blood already given is going to make a bit of a difference towards it, though. RRL, not sure if that was an intended let this one creep go through, blocking it under the tower. Or did he just fail to block? It's hard to say at this point.
Yeah, I wasn't watching it. I'm looking at this top lane. Mid lane versus Storm versus the Void Spirit solemnly goes very hard one way or another. Neither of them clears the wave too fast for the other to not be able to. But the Storm usually pulls away a little bit because he clears the side camp slightly faster though.
Well, this tranquility of the lane has definitely been hurt a little bit because it's now on the side of the Storm Spirit. So it might have been a calculated dodge, letting that one creep slide by. Void's gonna have some... Well, he's got a decent amount of right-click damage, but still pairs up to the same with the Storm Spirit, both sitting at basically 58, 61. A huge difference with that Quelling Blade nerf that we got in the last patch. Off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, over on the bot lane we have the DK versus a melee matchup. Really enjoys that a lot. You get to bonk people with your dragon tail, deny them, and you don't care about the harass that the enemy puts over towards you. Going to see this man max out his dragon blood most likely.
I want to see if Lil Nick's going to be the promised player for 5RATFORCESTAFF to potentially look at Division 1 because they were so close to it last season. And now that they get this addition of, well, you could say respectable player, at least through some of the talent from NA. At least definitely has played a lot, has proven himself to be a pretty decent playfellow. So in the top lane, it's got to be a first kill for 5ManMidas taken off of the DP. You do have these two very nasty stuns, and of course the caustic finale level 2 stacking does hurt on heroes like BP, and might even hurt the Medusa a little bit more too. She's down to 200 HP, mana completely burnt out, but BP's gonna be here to save the day.
A couple extra tangas coming in as well. This is where the lane is supposed to turn for the Medusa, but because she activated her mana shield just now, she actually has no mana for that level 2 snake, and the Sand King is going to be very happy with that.
At least for the time being, yeah. That's gonna take quite some time with a 1.7 mana region to get that Mystic Snake available again. Meanwhile in mid, just a bit of teasing with the last hits there. Storm is pulling off a bit of a lead here, 18 versus 13 against the Void Spirit. And obviously every CS counts for the Storm Spirit. The faster you get to level 6, the least likely 5RATFORCESTAFF is even going to put their supports to rotate towards mid, which also opens up the side lanes for 5ManMidas. Because they don't really need to TP to rescue this guy.
Yep, this is something that we're going to see a lot in these Storm, or I should say these Spirit versus Spirit matchups. Usually the supports rotating into the mid lane to try to get the kill on the level 6 immediately. For either side. Instead of waiting for a side lane to rotate into, because all of these heroes usually don't want to spend their mobility going in. So what you'd be looking at is action on the side lanes that allows them to then go in after it. They want to make that first rotation reactively. And that
Well,
sometimes leads to passivity if
yeah,
nothing happens.
that is true. Right now, nothing is happening as we're sitting on a pause. Flags have been called out. So we could take a quick glimpse at some of the itemization. For example, DK's already got his Blink Dagger lined up. That's basically going to be for him to get those early plays. For the Sand King, he hasn't. So looks like he wants to build himself some extra regen in the form of the Hood. There's some decent amount of magic damage you have to fight against the Coddle, the Void, the Snake, the DK's Breath, and all that. So I think the Sand King just kind of wants to live a little bit longer in the front. You do have the Storm and the Wraith King, who are also considered both to be melee in a sense because they're on top of you the whole time. Storm is basically in your face during team fights. So when you have three of these heroes, that also opens up with a lot of vision, potentially better epicenters as well through that. So might as well just build into some extra tankiness for now.
Exactly. It's very likely that they're going to frontline a lot, which means that the Sand King
DP might be dead.
get opportunities.
Stun
Pretty
combo
sure.
coming out. Body blocks are there. Sand King picks up his second kill. It's almost too easy. 2 points in Burrow Strike, skipping Sandstorm completely. Some people have highly been debating, is this the way to go? You know, the 2 points in Burrow Strike, then start maxing out the Sandstorm. You're like, oh, why is he not leveling Sandstorm at all? It's all according to plan.
It was buffed so much.
Yeah, exactly. It's, like, the Sandstorm is a great ability for sure, but having 2 points in Burrow Strike does seem to make a big dent as well. As
You skill for the lane first.
Yeah.
Farm second.
I think one of the more fun ways of basically introducing that was, I think it was in NA Division 1 where they had the offlane Sand King. People were wondering, like, why is he not leveling up his Sandstorm? And then he just basically carries the game because he got these very good Burrow Strikes early on. Obviously, it didn't impact him too much that he wasn't able to farm or get his levels or anything because he still kind of carried the game in the end.
Mm-hmm. You can see here, by the way, that once DNM has mana again for his Snake, things start looking very differently. The Radiant have blocked all, they have blocked all the camps though, so you can't actually side pull or pull here at all for Albite and Zebra, but finally with the Snake bounces, this lane is becoming harder for Vol. He's had a great time so far, definitely overperformed.
Yeah, and I wonder if they want to make a play, potentially. Storm has now returned all the way back home to the fountain. DP is open. Doesn't look like there's too much to create right now because they're basically under the tier 1 tower in the top lane, and obviously bottom there's a DK that's it's going to be a bit of a nuisance to try and kill. It's going to take a lot of resources to just get this hero out of the way, so does TP straight back to mid. Albino Zebra going in for the rotation mid, hasn't got Silence leveled up, so it's just going to be a classic D-warding trip towards mid, nothing else.
That leaves us with a very quiet level 6 for both of these Spirit Heroes.
Has been brawling for quite some time with Giants
He's
here.
stuck.
Luminous going to be, he's so dead. He thought he got the kill. 4 stacks of Shadow Poison about to pop in about 3, 2, 1. Not enough. Earn Heal is going to be decent enough to get that one through.
Still got so much
Hoodwink.
mana.
Oh, nice rotation. Hoodwink's actually going to get some. No, he misses the bushwhack. Wraith King's dead, and he's going to die as well as Nico rotates towards the bot lane. Oh my goodness, there was a chance to get 2 quick kills for 5ManMidas. Instead, they both die. Coddle is still alive somehow. They do take the tower in the top lane with that, but still avoid rotation for some kills. That's pretty big for 5RATFORCESTAFF.
Absolutely huge. Yeah, that Coddle just steps out of vision. It's nighttime and the ward doesn't see him just behind the trees, so he gets to blast them into oblivion. Yep.
A lot of stacks also waiting inside the dire triangle. Triple, quadruple stacks. A big ancient stack also waiting there to be picked up. But Medusa's going to need a couple more levels until she can finally clear that out. As Elias has also TP'd to the top lane. wants to open up the top half of the map now that the Sand King has finally gotten rid of the tower.
Tower is under attack.
Bot lane, a couple trades coming in as this DK form is about to run out.
Medusa is going to get help from the Kotl to clear these, by the way. She doesn't have enough time to wait.
Radiant's middle tower.
Ray nicely denies the regen rune with a bubble away from the DP. Means that Nico's not going to get a bottle refill, at least for another 50 seconds.
And you can always see if a carry has voluntarily left the lane or not by if they have their first major item up. DNM bailed out of that top lane, which caused the top tower to fall as well. Sand King to move towards the bottom, where he's now going to be a major obstacle towards Lil Nick taking this bottom tower. They're going to have to move more heroes down here to deal with him now, because the Sand King is so good at sitting under tower, sandstorming, clearing these waves, that you can't just naturally break through with an offlaner, even as good of a tower taker as a DK.
A calm phase right now, though. At least the Medusa got the farm pretty peacefully there. DNM now 4th in net worth, tying up with the Sand King, not too far away from the lead. That's a good indicator, considering a Medusa game. That first blood and all lies, though. He's got a lot of work to do. He's having to deward their own sentries to be able to farm the enemy's easy camp.
I did not expect DNM to bail out of that lane.
Is what it is. Dragon Lance also almost soon up on the Medusa. I'm kind of curious about this this DK though. Like, how big do you think Lil Nick's going to be this game? Is he going to be like mediocre big, or is he going to be like obscenely big on a DK?
This man could be quite large. He has had the opportunity, because his lane hasn't been that hard contested, to just level into the Breathe Fire. So he's got that maxed right now, not the Dragon Blood, as is usually the doctrine for offlane DKs. So he actually farms pretty fast already in a phase of the game where the DK mostly is just a body.
Yeah. Also feel like, yeah, full farming mode. Wasn't really contested in the lane. You look at Wraith King, like, what the hell's a Wraith King gonna do to you anyway? They were 1v1ing for quite some time, both getting solo XP. So this could definitely be a very big Dragon Knight towards the latter parts of the game, especially when he only needs a couple more minutes until the shard is going to be activated. Still wants to rush this Blink Dagger for now. He might still change it though, but let's see what can they do. They've got Sanctified spotted in the mid lane. 3 heroes making their move. The jump coming out from Nico. There's the DK form popped as well. Don't get the catch on the Hoodwink. Forcing the TP out at least from Vol. We do have the Sand King at least to defend the tower, so this is not going to lead into a mid tower kill. They're instantly rotating towards bottom, but so are 5ManMidas.
Yeah, look at this. 5ManMidas understands, alright, we got the Sand King TP on mid, we can now go for bot, finally. And he actually knows, oh crap, I gotta get there, otherwise they're gonna take my tower. But he's getting a little bit distracted. That was the sandstorm down. And now he is, he's lucky he has a glyph, because otherwise he would be late.
Yeah. Scouting kill. DP still level 5, no exorcism available yet.
Man.
That being also said, they don't really have that extra tool for now, though. I think they really want this DP for the next bigger fights that they're looking at in 10 minutes, I think. 10-15 minutes, I think, is optimistic for 5RATFORCESTAFF. They take bigger skirmishes.
Yeah, especially I was wondering where all of the money that Nico had been saving up was going to go, if he was still going to go for the heals, but he has actually invested into the Boots of Travel, so you're completely right. They are taking this one easy. They do not feel any pressure to make moves currently. They're going to do something once the DK has his Blink Dagger up, but apart from that, they're just going to see if 5ManMidas wants to come at them. Some waves, farm some stacks. This Kotl is so rich.
Everybody is richer than the Wraith King.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, yeah, obviously the Wraith King is not the fastest farmer yet. He relies solely on items and that heavy XP buff that he also gets later on, basically, where his attack speed gets bigger, his damage gets bigger, his crits and his skeletons become better and better. So he will ramp up from where he is, but it does hurt to see the carry following up after everyone, simply because it's not that the other opponent is stomping you, it's because they've got better farmers than you do. So you're just falling behind in economy.
He wasn't even bullied out of that bottom lane all that much. He was inconvenienced. And now it just seems like they can't find a good place to give him farm, because every time the waves are under tower, right, where you normally put a safe farmer, that's where Vol is gonna go, because he's defending against the threat of this DK.
Have to say, this is the most calmest NA game we've cast in the last, what, 3-4 months.
Yeah, year.
Even with 7 kills. This is very, you know, this is just watching people hit creeps, basically. It's a PvE game right now.
Well, I could, like, gush about that macro move from 5RATFORCESTAFF, where they deliberately bait the TPs on the mid tower for an hour. So, you know, if they're gonna give me that time, I will get myself my cigar and my comfy chair.
Well, let's see if something's going to happen. As we say that, we do see 8 people smoked up. Only the Wraith King and the Medusa not feeling they want to take any part of the action that's about to follow.
Yeah,
it's going to be taking the first step, because it's basically who crosses first. Oh, Storm goes in. They're going to get the jump, but the stun's coming out from Lil Nick, and he basically hands himself out for 5RATFORCESTAFF to take it down. As that exorcism used by the DP is only going to be zoning 5ManMidas for a little bit, and here comes Lies, frozen to crit, takes the kill for himself. And now Medusa's also joining in the action. Lil Nick with another blink stun onto the Wraith King. Still got his reincarnate. The epicenter, nice blinking from Vol, gets a bit of damage in. Lil Nick's going to be taking Ray down already. DK keeping them away. Lies, that meanwhile, he's dropping for the first time. He's going to need some backup. There's no stun available, no bushwhack for another 2 seconds, no burrow strike for another 3. Wraith King's almost down completely. He's going to die. There's nothing they can do to save this buddy. And Wraith King falls, making it a 3-for-1 in favor of 5RATFORCESTAFF, and maybe even a mid-tower. Let's see if there's something that they TP to defend it, because Storm Spirit has respawned.
Oh, got him.
He's not coming in yet. It's going to be a bit late for this one, as they've already lost the Sand King. Now chasing the Hoodwink into the trees. Lil Nick comes in as well, and he's going to get bubble saved there for a second by Ray. Doesn't take any damage from RRL. The tower falls. DNM's going to be taking the last hit out of this one, and it's now snowballing out of hands from 5ManMidas.
You can't take a fight like that if you're 5ManMidas versus a Coddle. There's so many of these low cooldowns that are going to keep getting refreshed by the chakra magic. You can see the pace of 5RATFORCESTAFF in that fight. It's because they are getting their spells refreshed as they're fighting. And then also the overblink from the DK there, right? They're just ignoring the Wraith King, splitting up the fight, because if they all stand around the Wraith King and hit him, they're gonna get hit by an absolutely devastating epicenter. And instead, the Sand King has to choose to do that over on the side on 2 heroes who are fairly tanky, does not hit the supports at all, does not hit the Medusa at all. Oh man.
They got the blink stun on Storm, he just gets blown up by the Void Spirit. That's gonna hurt a lot.
And that is, yeah, you know what? You don't actually need to use instant disable if your DK is just going to find opportunities for the Dragon Tail like this. This is a classic Storm killer.
Well, he is. The funny thing is, Lil Nick, he already saw this one coming a mile away. He was hiding in a tree line. Storm Spirit basically makes a move towards top. Gives a quick call for his buddy. Void Spirit's like, alright, I need to bring a buddy. Want to join in with your boots of travel? Sure thing. Blink and stun TP in and nuke him from 100 to 0. That's gonna work. That kind of also indicates when you think about the mentality of Storm Spirit, basically RRL. Where is he feeling comfortable of going next? Like,
yeah,
that's gonna hurt his farm if he starts to be too scared.
Well, and he is really the best one to clear these outer waves. Then again, I guess now Vol is going to have to start doing it. He's got a Blink Dagger, and most of the towers that he was supposed to defend earlier have now fallen. So they can afford to give the Storm some safer farm.
5ManMidas on a scouting run.
Thanks.
With all the wards on the Hoodwink. Get some vision down into the top jungle. He potentially could, but trying to get the pressure out while 5RATFORCESTAFF establishing a perimeter towards the bot lane. You can see the line. Wow, wow, English being drawn on the map for Nico that anybody crossing this line, if we spot somebody, we're going to kill them. And they are going to go for the 4-man smoke again. Here's some opponents inside their own jungle potentially to be found. So it looks like DNM might just play the bait here. It's a big juicy wave to farm, so why not? But look at the moves coming in from the side. Shadow Demon is a prime target to go for. The blink stun from Lil Nick. RRL, he's already lost half of his HP from the jump in. That hurts him a lot. They barely get anything done. The sharpshooter's gonna miss too, and 5ManMidas, they're scrambling right now. Senti's got his blink available. DNM does get bushwhacked, but does still get the kill and Sanctified. And Ball's trying to TP out. Nicely cancelled by Nico. And Senti down, making it 3 for 5RATFORCESTAFF, and they're now 9,000 gold ahead. And they're dominating this game. 5ManMidas just doesn't have any answers to this.
No, they don't, and scrambling is exactly the right word, because 5ManMidas have the lineup that needs to go faster. They are on this timing where once the Medusa gets the Skadi, your carry is, I don't want to say dead, but oh, here we go again.
It's waltzing his way through. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got nowhere to get out, but is this Wraith King really going to catch him? I don't think so. Throwing a stun, he's still got to simulate. Void's going to walk out of this one. So yeah, it's kind of like, you talked about the pace of, you need to be faster than 5RATFORCESTAFF. Well, my ex-military commander, when I was in the army, he told me that if you rush things, you're going to make things look bad. So you say, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. But how fast is slow in this case for 5ManMidas? Because you're running out of time, my buddies.
Not fast enough, no. And he is completely correct, by the way. Teams that play hurried are not good. What you need to do is you need to be ready for your timings and be ready in a place where you can immediately capitalize on them. And then hit those timings fast. Not necessarily look for the fight fast. Look for the positioning fast.
Yeah, you understand the theme that
on the Medusa?
we are all going to find a really good kill potentially, but the TP's already coming in. The break also hits onto the DK instead, and Lil Nick might be falling, or will he? Because it looks like they're going to be killing 5ManMidas heroes instead. Ball still in that sandstorm, hurting a lot. Wraith is going to be popping for the first time, and now Albino Zebra coming in with the exorcism as well. Picking up a hex on the Shadow Demon, trying to make a runaway as that little piggy. As Lil Nick has been taken down, but Ray falls, and Medusa lives and continues to pummel away. Lies will be the next one to fall. Ball is going to have to blink out the safety. Hoodwink trying to TP out, and this Senti, he cancels his TP, knowing he's going to get caught anyway. He's trying to hide in the sandstorm, but there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hide. That's going to be a 4-1. I'm not sure if the Medusa would have died from the sharpshooter being loaded up, but Lil Nick, he tanks the sharpshooter break.
Yeah, that could have very well made a difference there, but it was also, I think the Medusa had a really big one there, so you could actually see deliberately there that he waits until his team says, alright, we can do the turnaround, he pops it, he pops his ult, sharpshooter gets tanked, and 5ManMidas, yeah, they are under pressure, correctly read by 5ManForceStaff, they're just waiting for them to come. And every time they slam the door.
I wouldn't be too surprised if by the time Wraith King finishes his BKB, they take a fight, they lose it, they call GG, because this is not looking good at all for 5ManMidas, and I don't think that's basically your last win condition right now for them, unless a horrible mistakes happen from 5RATFORCESTAFF, but I don't think they're the ones making the mistakes right now. Catching Sanctified on a scouting run to hopefully find some opponents, and he does. He's also going to pay with his life for it. Ward placed down by Ray, but look at the jump from Nico. He knows exactly where this SD is, and he's dead.
Oof. And that's going to basically finish up the Aghanims for Nico here as well, which means that they're going to also get... This SD has been trying to get some saves off, but very much putting himself in the firing line, and now he might not even get his save off because of the AoE silence.
Radiant's middle tower
we talked about if this DK is going to be huge or humongous this game. He's been part of 17 out of the 19 kills of his team. 3-1 and 14 scoreline for Lil Nick, so he's living the dream right now. Has been a very impactful player for the team. Ball's going to have to blink out the safety of the bot lane as the Medusa shows up. Storm is also building into an ag as they kind of realize that any additional lockdown on top of the Burrow Strike and the Bushwhack are going to be needed. I don't think you can really think about the Wraith King stun as a team fight ability, because he's just going to use it on one guy. It's not a huge long duration stun either.
But
What
this
you're
is
looking for is that AoE.
exactly, and it's a good read too, because you're most likely going to have to make your stand on the high ground, which is one of the few places where 5RATFORCESTAFF will actually be forced to cluster. And we've seen how well they split in the fights previously to not give that epicenter any shot.
Pretty mad pinging coming out as well. Can they spot them? Lil Nick's going to find the Wraith King right in front of him, but he also finds Ray in the back. He's going to burn this SD alive, and he's dead. Slow
Not
death.
even looking at him.
Radiant's
You could
bottom
see
tower
from the
is
pinging
under
from
attack.
5RATFORCESTAFF that they were
Dire's
super
top
focused. They're
tower is
really
under
focused right now on winning this game. And obviously playing from ahead, they're feeling that positive mental attitude. PMA.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to be PMA if you're winning.
Radiant's bottom tower has been denied.
I need some kind of Dutch mentality like Celery in a losing game to still pull yourself together, because right now it's not looking good. Now there's a Scotty. Medusa's going to be dropping her ulti too. Zoning 5ManMidas away. Sharpshooter loaded up. That's going to be the Hoodwink dying. Sending off that final bolt of that crossbow. But now they're looking at the epicenter, lining up nicely. Damage is going to be flying through. DK down, Medusa falling. The mana pool's completely gone. And that Chakra Magic's not going to help her out, so she's going to go down. Now maybe looking for even more, but that Exorcism also hurts, despite it being only level 1. 5ManMidas are going to give up the chase on this one. They get 2 big kills for themselves, and they get to live for another day.
There's the AoE near the high ground. It's only just about enough, but you know what? Only the last point of HP matters, and Medusa definitely lost that one.
They got a fight on the most, like the best place they potentially could, right in front of the high ground, in front of the tower. So that was a situation, just a really nice Burrow Strike onto 2. Fall, they kind of lined up for him and forcing that Medusa further and further away. Even the Chakra black screen for a second. Hopefully that's there we go. We're back in. That's difficulties for 5ManMidas throughout the game, but that also gives a bit of an error indicator as well for 5RATFORCESTAFF. I don't think they want to give too many of those away, because that's basically letting the Radiant team back into the game.
And the one hero that they really need to pay attention to on that high ground siege is the Shadow Demon. They've been getting this SD early in these fights so often thanks to their superior positioning, the fact that they've been coming from behind. But when you don't get the SD, you get the max level disruption over on those tasty Medusa stats.
And the King.
Sandkungen.
No living out of that.
No.
No life for Vol.
But anyway. Ton of damage done by the SD illusions to the Medusa herself in that previous fight. She doesn't actually have DPS yet, so she can't kill her illus yet. Which is unfortunate. Yeah. So she's going to be looking for a damage item next, presumably. I've seen this before. Into the Shadow Blade and then onto the Silver Edge. Very good positioning tool for a slow snake. Yeah, Lies is playing with fire a little bit here.
At least he's got the lane ward, which the SD placed down earlier on. So he's got all the vision that he needs on all these hostiles moving around the area. He is going for a Scotty, by the way, next. So no added damage, but instead something that's going to hurt the Medusa a little bit more. Also, the DK's regeneration does take a bit of a hit out of that. The Scotty's the right option for the Wraith King, because that's something that you're kind of looking at. I beg to differ.
I'm not sure if there's any item right now that we would say like, hell yeah, that's gonna win you the game right now. So, I mean, I'm not a particular fan either. I do think that what they probably need more is damage, but
yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're not really still gonna blame. Okay, they lost the game because Wraith King went Scotty. No, like, that's too narrow of a way to look at Dota. You can't think of it that way.
Like,
and that wasn't another point either. Yeah.
Exactly, and if he dies in the next fight because he bought, I don't know, an MKB and he didn't do anything with it, would we then say that that was the itemization that lost it? No, also no.
Caught eyes on the Sand King. He's gonna get dusted too. Can't blink away. Has to burrow strike to safety and then blink after. Still trying to chase him down. There is the Remnant. They've spotted the Sand King again. They found him. The stun comes out from Lil Nick with the BKB used as well. Sand King's gonna get blown up. Doesn't have a buyback. Exorcism also used by Albino Zebra. Can't quite follow up on this Wraith King. He does get back to the safety, but that also means they're going to force Roshan. Does 5ManMidas? Exactly, that's what I was thinking. They should just buy back and take a fight towards this Roach Pit because they can't let them take this for free.
But Liza's just getting chased back by Medusa illusions. They're not in position for this yet.
On the positive side, Medusa doesn't have her damage items either, so this is taking some time. Exorcism's just run out too. They spot DNM in the pit. Lies doesn't give a damn right now. He just blinks right in. Trying to catch the SD. Bushwhack epicenter being loaded up. Can he connect onto two heroes? He gets the Voice Spirit with an eco. Dropping low. Lil Nick's already down. The SD coming with the buyback. Medusa dropping the ulti though. Wraith King isolated. Wraith King falling. Doesn't get the armlet juke either. So he is down. And now Roach is in real big peril. Do they force the Wraith King for this too? Because 5RATFORCESTAFF, they're still second thinking about this one. Should they just let it reset for a second longer? We don't know what 5ManMidas is up to right now. Storm jumps into the pit. He thought that he was already finished with Roach, but he's not. Bushwhack does connect onto the Medusa. Burrow Strike is ready with a blink too. Roach down to 1500 HP. They don't quite see Roach. Now they do 1000 HP. It's going to be a quick race to the victory. Ball goes in for the stun. And here comes Sanctified from the side. The Bushwhack does connect onto the Medusa. Medusa's going to be done with the agents. It's going to be taking the agents for RRL. And the Medusa's going to be falling with a sharpshooter coming in too. And now it's horrible for 5RATFORCESTAFF. The worst possible scenario just happened to them, and now they might get the Aegis burned off the Storm Spirit, but Ray with the saving disruption buys some time. He's going to be there with the Vortex, does connect. Sanctified, looking for an angle for the Bushwhack, doesn't need it yet. He gets silenced too. They do blow up the Aegis at least. That's something that 5RATFORCESTAFF would have wanted to take for themselves.
Something that clearly they need right now. This Medusa is so tied up in the AoE abilities. Look at that Storm's damage. Storm and Sand King, their bet on this Aghanims right now, on the AoE damage, is paying off.
Stupendous.
30 minutes into this one. Let's take a quick look at that Roach Pit fight again. It's basically Lil Nick as he's holding the front line, and DNM, he's dealing his damage as much as he can. Roach is still fairly healthy at this point, and this is the part where 5RATFORCESTAFF, they're able to isolate the Wraith King. No backup whatsoever. They're forced away from the fight, and then the follow-up, which is better for 5ManMidas. The positioning for RRL inside the pit, able to get towards the Roach and take the Aegis, while 5RATFORCESTAFF were still scrambling in the river. DNM also outside of the Roach pit at that point of the fight. You had no way of even contesting the Aegis at that point. But then there was the Shadow Demon just throwing constant disruptions and forcing that Medusa to stay away. And those Medusa illusions, by the way, they actually hurt 5RATFORCESTAFF by quite a lot.
They do, and now they are the ones who also kind of have damage problems. They need to take those illusions down. They need to take that Sand King down, who's still got that hood, which is a pretty big buffer for their damage. Ags on Coddle. What a rich fella that one is. So we will see the Will-O-the-Wisp now, and this is some counter AoE control now versus that Sand King.
Yeah, it's going to hurt the Sand King. It's also going to keep them busy while they want to blow the backline up if they want to kill the SD. And Lil Nick's going in again. On point to find the SD, but sadly he's hidden inside a Glimmer Cake.
I restore my connection to
No kill for Lil Nick today.
And no territory gained with this particular dragon form.
Wraith King has also decided to wait a little bit longer with the Scotty. He's gone for AC first. With that Hyperstone, that's definitely going to increase the potential of this Wraith King by a lot. The Scotty slows you down. You're still going to get some damage out of that. SD just gets blown up under the tower. RRL looking for a bit of vengeance here. Almost gets caught by the silence, but the stun comes out. The Will-O-the-Wisp was also placed down the line. He's going to jump the back line onto the Caudle. They want to kill Giant first. He's the one who hasn't died at all this game, and he's hiding in the Glimmer Cave, so he's getting out of vision from 5ManMidas and Lies. He's gone too far. He's gone too deep. He's going to need some backup. What's Fall going to do? He's got his epicenter ready, but is he going to go in? Looks like they're just going to sack the Wraith King. They've lost the Storm. They're going to lose the Hoodwink. Nothing to do to salvage the fight for 5ManMidas at that point, and that's Rex.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Painful fight.
Is under attack.
The Storm Spirit jumping in there is sort of the antithesis of how they won the previous fight, right? The previous fight they waited, they used the Axe pull for control. Oh, are they gonna get full here as well?
Looks like they are. Silence is there, Dust is there. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Now you got no heroes left. Nobody to defend the base. But he's definitely Rax, and looks like the game as well because they tap out for the GG call.
Yeah, that previous fight, as beautiful as it was also an absolute miracle. Like, if you can't pull that off again, then the game is over. And you know what? When things look like this, when the Medusa is already sitting on top of your building,